This is Sunil Sunder Raj with Jersey Sporting News. This morning, I'm happy to be speaking with Mike Eineker, the head coach of the Ramapo College of New Jersey women's basketball head coach, our team, excuse me. Coach Eineker, thank you so much again for taking time out in advance of the regular season and home opener, the 2022-23 season kicking off tomorrow night at the Bradley Center.
Yeah, happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Hey, 15 season as the head coach at Ramapo College. Had to first ask you just what this means, being in this spot. I mean, it's like, to have this type of tenure and the fact you've had an immense level of success there and coming off, I would say a good season, coach. I mean, it said, even though you're under 500 during the regular season, 9-9 in conference play and then Jack. Said face William Patterson there in the first round of the tournament. Can you just talk about the program, heading into this season?
Sure. I think it was just a fascinating turn after, coming back from COVID. We were one of two NJAC schools that didn't participate that COVID year at all. So it put us in a unique situation last year where we had 13 players on the team, and 9 of the 13 had never played college basketball before. So it was really kind of a fascinating season with so many of our players being just so inexperienced and having such a new concept of moving up a level. With that said, I thought we had a really good year and it was really solid. We're really looking forward to this season where so many of those players are back. We graduated our one senior. But we have so many kids back, so we've gone from a really inexperienced team to a team that has been through the NJAC for a year and have seen it and had some success. So we're really looking forward to this season. We got a lot of really good kids who I think are going to really compete and play well.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, let's talk about some of the key returning players. Talk about Jada Thompson, your leading scorer, and Jack Rookie of the Year. Before we came on the air, Coach, we were talking about Bridget Cahill. The captain said second on the team in the scoring. Now in their senior year, Olivia Johnson, who also 9.2 points per game last year, did lose Ali Wickersheim, the NJAC co-defensive player of the year. But when you look at this squad, Coach, in the fact that one junior, one freshman, I think 12 sophomores, that's the breakdown, if I'm correct. I mean, this team is not only built for this season, but for, years to come as well.
Yeah, we have a good young core, and it starts with those kids that you all mentioned. I know, Jada and Bird, Bridget Cahill, OJ, Shannon Burns is another one, and Jackie Ventricelli also had a really good off season. So that core of young players who, we don't have great size, and Ali Wickersheim graduating is really going to leave a hole in the middle for us for our post defense, but our other players have really come along. Shannon Burns and Allison Ahern are both two kids that'll share kind of the post duties, but they've done a great job. And our team really plays well together. We don't have great size, but we do have some speed and some quickness and some kids who can really shoot the ball. Olivia Johnstone and Bridget Cahill really shoot the ball well from the outside. And a couple new kids who are going to help, I think. So it's a really good mix. And like we said before, we have a little more experience than we had last year. So really looking forward to getting things going.
Yeah, no, definitely. And when I looked at the schedule, Coach, I saw that the first 6 out of 7 games, so I'm correct, are at the Bradley Center. How important is that? The fact that, to build that confidence, that chemistry up early, but the fact that to get those, the games at the Bradley Center and to get that home crowd behind you, just talk about how critical that is, just, jumping out to a good start here early on.
Yeah, well, I mean, we love playing home. I mean, everybody loves playing home, right? It's a comfortable place, and it's something that our facility is so nice. We really like playing in that gym and shooting in the gym. So it's something that I think worked out well for us in our scheduling, and some of it was, not all of it was by design. I know our game Friday against SUNY Old Westbury, they're redoing their gym, so they just weren't able to. We were supposed to go to their place, but they weren't able to do it. So, but I think it'll be key, and it'll be good for us to get off to a good start. And once we get into the NJAC, we get so much competition. The NJAC teams are so challenging and so tough that our schedule really is a tough conference schedule, and we play a lot of conference games with
Yeah.
10 teams in the NJAC playing 18. It's a real grind compared to some other conferences where you don't play quite as many conference opponents. So every NJAC opponent is a tough game and a real battle. So hopefully our preseason will, the earlier non-conference games will get us prepared for that.
Yeah, no, I agree. Hey, just talk about in terms of preparing for this opener tomorrow against St. Elizabeth University. There's so much that goes into it, Coach. I mean, especially with that all season and with training. Just talk about that as well. Just trying to get this team, said all squared away in terms of taking that court tomorrow night.
Right. One of the things I thought was good for our team this preseason was, normally when your team gets to around this point, it's almost a relief for the kids to get to go beat up on somebody else a little bit or go compete against somebody else.
Yeah.
And you could even see in practice, that's one of the things that it's a fine line between your team competing against each other, and then things get a little bit uncomfortable where you're butting heads with the same people every night. That starts to wear on you. So at this point in the season, our kids are very much looking forward to playing some other opponents and somebody else, and it's just a good reminder. I know we've had two good scrimmages that were very good for us, scrimmaging Brooklyn and Felician this year. So that I think that helps us in that regard of recognizing how to compete a little bit and how to really pull back together and to start our season where we get more games. I think as a player, the kids always go through this month, and it's always a tough month because it's a long time before you have a game ahead of yourself to look at. So now when the games start picking up, it's a little bit easier to see, okay, we got 2 days of practice and then we're playing this team. And then even for us, we start tomorrow, but we'll play 2 games in our first 3 days of the season. So it'll be something for us to get into the mix of it quick.
Yeah. I know you're wearing that Ramapo College said sweatshirt. I'm wondering for the players, when they put that jersey on every time, whether it's home or away, I mean, what you want that to represent, especially for these players, because they're representing, of course, Ramapo College. Can you just dive into that and just talk about that as well, Coach?
Yeah, we talk a lot about that of when we go out there, what is it that we're trying to accomplish, And I think a lot of times as players, see a lot of players talk about, we want to finish in a certain place in the NJAC, or we want to have a certain record. And the one thing I always bring up to our kids is that we just want to keep improving, and we want to play together more and more as the year goes on. And, as far as us putting that Ramapo uniform on, the biggest thing for our kids is to recognize is what do we want people who come to see these games, what do we want them to leave with, and the impression of us and the impression of who we are. So that's a big thing that I know our kids talk about, is that we always want to leave a positive impression. And we spend a lot of time saying, when you pass through this world, leave it a little bit better for the rest of the folks that are behind you. And I think that's a big thing that our team has embraced and our team likes to do, is that we're going to go out and we're going to compete, but we want people to see a group of kids that really care about each other, that really play hard and play the game the right way.
Yeah. No, it's well said and well put up. You talked about the NJAC. I think the first game is against Rutgers Newark on November 22nd at the Bradley Center. And when you look at the conference from last year, the top teams and King University, Rowan, Montclair State, you throw New Jersey City University also in there into the mix. So I'm wondering, just in terms of competing, you talked about such a rigorous schedule that you're going to be playing. So I'm wondering, just where competing against those top teams and where you think the potential for Ramapo College is for this season, Coach Eineker.
Yeah, I think every year we look at the NJAC and there's just so much talent. I know, Kane has practically their whole team back. Jersey City won the conference last year, and the last 2 years, in the COVID year, they won as well. And they have a really talented group. But, from top to bottom, the way the conference has gone lately, it's been very much just try to get into the playoffs. And if you get into the playoffs in the top 6, then you have a fighting chance because everybody does. And if you're playing your best basketball that time of the year, that goes a long way. So I think one of the real challenges For the past few years, one of the things we always say is the team that's going to be upset is that team that finishes in seventh place, because that's going to be a team that could go and win a couple of games in the playoffs and really make a move,
Yeah.
and they won't get a chance to. So it's such a competitive league from top to bottom that there are really no nights off. And certainly the top of the league does, is just so there's just so many good teams, and every night's going to be a real challenge. So
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm wondering from where you started out year one, taking over a program, I think what was it that had four total wins, none in the conference, and to see where each year, those building blocks and said to be at this juncture now in your I said in your 15th year, I'm wondering what just comes to your mind, what flows through it, just in terms of how you've been able to see, again, this program and just the level of success, just in conference play, even outside of that, but just and even the players that you have developed over the years as well, Coach Eineker.
well, when you mention me being here for 15 years, I'm immediately thinking of a comment my brother makes to me that he said how coaches age in like dog years, So it feels like a lot more, but it's
Yeah.
what one thing I've been really pleased with in our whole program is we've had a lot of kids come through the program, and we've had years where we've had some success and won some games, and some years where we really struggled. But we've had a lot of really good kids who came through the program and really gave their best for whatever our team was. And that was
Mhm.
something that, we've always kind of emphasized, is that, we're not going to measure ourselves strictly based on whether we win or lose. It's going to be, those two things. Are we continuing to improve, and are we getting closer as a team, and are we coming together more as a team?
Mhm.
So that's been something that we've always tried to instill. And I've been really lucky to have so many really great kids come through our program in the last 15 years. So we look to continue that and grow on it. And I think our assistant coaches do a really great job of trying to recruit the best kids that we can that fit into how we want to play and what we want to
Yeah.
do. So I know Joe and Gina have really done a great job and building up this team. And even since COVID, our program has done pretty well in our the two recruiting years, and even last year we've got some kids that have come in that can really help and fit in well with our group. And so I think we're definitely trending upwards, which is a good thing.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful news to hear. You need also that structure in place in terms of administration at the athletic department. Can you talk about, with interim AD, Jan Kozlowski, and then President Dr. Cindy Arjeb, just in terms of that, having that backing as well, Coach Eineker.
Right. Yeah, it's very exciting. Very exciting with a new president, and Jan's been here since I got here. So
Hmm.
one of the things that I really love about Jan is the stability that he's brought to the department, to our program, and it's something that I have not had in all those 15 years. I've had a lot of athletic directors, more than
Hmm.
normal. It's been an
Yeah.
unusual situation where there's been a lot of there aren't that many coaches that could say in 15 years that they've had 5 or 6 different athletic directors. So I think Jan being there and being, knowing so much about Ramapo has made it a very smooth transition. And it's been
Hmm.
great to have him there and have him know and support our program. And then the new president, everybody's very excited about our new president who comes from West Point, and she's been fantastic. She came down to always around campus, pops her head into practice once in a while. Luckily, I was smart enough. I almost was about to kick her out of practice. I saw until I recognized who she was. Thank God I didn't throw her out. But but yeah, she's been terrific and real supportive of athletics, which, as you know, for Division III is just a key
Yeah.
thing. I think that there's certain administrations that view athletics as a nuisance, and there's some that really embrace it and embrace the experience for the student and the student athletes and everybody, all the students at Ramapo, to enjoy that side of their experience and their
Yeah.
education.
Yeah, no, I agree that's what I was going to ask you about, being, balancing that role as a student athlete, because we're just not talking about athletes, we're talking about students as well. And that's
Right.
so, you really have to place that emphasis so high. And just in terms of them, it's not easy with that time management and organization. So I'm just wondering for these students, or for these athletes on the team, just how they've been able to manage it effectively as well, Coach.
Right. It's a challenge. It's a challenge because, at any level, there's so few there's so many high school basketball players, and then such a small percentage get to go play at any level in college.
Mhm.
So it's just an ultra competitive thing. And then to tag onto it, the time demands of I mean, we're Division III, but it's still a huge commitment of
Mhm.
every day you're practicing. You get one day off a week, and you get coaches that are very demanding on you at this level. So it's something that our kids have done a great job, and they're all very good academic students, and they're it's very really important to them. And I think that's a critical element of kids coming out of high school and then getting into college, just
Yeah.
recognizing that it's okay to be committed to what you're studying and to be into it and to
Mhm.
really pursue it. And so that's something. We have some kids who are really great about how aggressive they are trying to pursue their dreams from an academic standpoint.
Yeah, and I think another thing that just really stands out is the facilities at Ramapo College as well. We talk about the Bradley Center, but then you just talk about you know you have the strength and conditioning, you have the swimming pool. I mean, there's so much there that really these student athletes can really hark on. They I mean they can utilize in terms of elevating their game as well. Coach Eineker.
Right, 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 and our kids do it, and that's one of the things that's so great. Also, is that even that facility, our kids have access to it all the time. So it's something that's really easy for them to get workouts in and to work with our strength coach Joe, who does a fantastic job, and they work
Mhm.
with him in the off season, and they really have an opportunity. And it's a beautiful campus. It's a really nice place to
Yeah,
as you know, it's a nice place to go to every day. So it's
yeah.
something our kids are able to enjoy and really take advantage of.
Yeah. Just was wondering about just getting back to the game of basketball. You've been coaching for a long time, as said, both on the college and the high school level. In terms of, both boys and, as said, girls basketball, just where you see the sport in terms of women's, especially you've been coaching women's and served as assistant coach as well, Princeton, Lafayette, I think Boston University. Just where do you see the game right now, Coach Einecker?
I tell you, I think the women's game is in a fantastic position. It's really growing, and it's becoming more and more exciting. I think it's almost certain things in this world don't trickle down, but the trickle down effect of the popularity of the WNBA and Division I college basketball has been on both sides, but on the women's side is really starting to grow, and people are
Hmm.
starting to pay a little more attention. And some of the competitive nature of it is balancing out a little bit, which I think is a healthy thing and a good thing.
Hmm.
Um, so for our level, I think it just follows suit. And I think that there are just so many really good players out there. I think the level of basketball is continuing to improve and grow. So it's a really exciting time to be part of it,
Yeah, yeah.
and to see that growth.
Yeah, no, definitely. You talked about the demands for student athletes. I mean, for coaches, it's just as much. I mean, it's year round, 24/7, 365. I think you would agree there's never a day off here. I said you're always working at it. And I'm wondering, like, you need that support from your family. And I wanted to ask, especially your wife Amanda, your two sons, Patrick and Declan, just what they've meant to you here along your journey here, coaching basketball.
Yeah, well, I think everybody. I mean, it's one of those things. My wife's a teacher, so she certainly understands the nature of it, and I think that's something that like anybody that's in that teaching background, like you don't get to turn things off. Like nothing's ever turned off. And there are a lot of
Yeah,
professions like that. I think firefighters and police officers don't become off when they go home. So it's just
yeah,
the nature of the business, and it is the business we've chosen. So
yeah,
one of the things I think has been really great is our family has gotten involved, and my wife and kids love to come up to the games and get to know some of the kids on the team, and
yeah,
get to get involved, and they certainly hear enough about them when I'm home. So
yeah,
it is, and then at our level, I think that's a big part of it. The kids want to be comfortable with everybody that's around them all the time. So
yeah,
it's been an exciting run. Hopefully we'll
yeah.
continue, and I think just about every coach is if you have a good family behind you, it's really a helpful thing, and a unique thing that you get to go and commit so much of your life and so much of your time to other people's children.
Yeah,
And it's really a blessing that I enjoy greatly. So, and my
yeah.
wife does too.
Yeah, it's definitely beneficial. So I'm wondering, Coach, what does a daily schedule entail for you, especially now, like during the season? I was just wondering about that.
Right, right. Well, right now I'm in a parking lot, so it's so we're running around a little bit trying to get a little organized,
Yeah.
but but yeah, that's a lot. I mean, that's like one of the things I make a point of is really prepping for our practices and making sure we're as prepared as possible for that.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
also, you talk about support. It's all important to have good assistant coaches who do a great job of
Yeah.
divvying up scouting reports and recruiting duties and things like that. So
Hmm.
it's a little bit of everything all the time. And then certainly at the level we're at, we have other responsibilities within our department. With the academic side of the other half of my job is helping kids with a little bit of advisement, doing study hall and things like that for all the student
Hmm.
athletes. So yeah, it fills up the day. Your day fills up pretty quick.
Yeah.
It's a fun day, but it fills up pretty quick.
Yeah. Hey, one thing I want to ask you is that the support from the student body, that's important to have, the students at the games there, of course, parents, and then like even fans from, as said the area as well. I mean, that's essential as well, Coach, just to have that at the home games and even on the road as well. But just talk about that,
Right, right. And
moment.
Ramapo's been really good. They do a lot of functions to try to draw the kids and bring the kids down. And I mean, one thing,
Yeah.
we always talk about with our players, the more you win, the more people get interested in what you're doing. So it's
Yeah.
something that if you have some success, people tend to want to pay attention. So that's one of the things that we focus on. But again, it's something else that we take all comers. We invite everybody, and we hope they come and they see a team that is worth coming to watch, and a team that really plays hard and plays for each other. And I think that's something that people naturally gravitate towards. I know I do when I'm watching games on TV. There are teams that I really like to watch because of the way they play and how they play
Hmm.
for each other and how they compete. And you kind of tell when teams haven't, when teams struggle. And so part of that is something that's really fun to be involved in.
Yeah, no, not true. Before you get the final word here, Coach Eineker, I was wondering. I think you're in a great spot here to offer advice to people who want to break into the coaching ranks. So I'm wondering what you would say to those people if they're going to watch this interview.
One thing I'd say is think really hard about it. First, I don't think I got paid for my first three coaching jobs, so that's one
Yeah.
of the things that
Yeah.
if you're looking to make a lot of money, I think you need to reevaluate. But hopefully, their pursuits go a little better, a little quicker, or whatever. But
Yeah.
one of the things I think is just it's important. Obviously, you have to have a passion for it, and you have to have a real interest and a keen interest
Mhm.
and a desire. And I think that was one of the things that I was really lucky when I first started coaching. I knew that I wanted to coach. I thought, of the whatever level I would like to coach at. I would love to be coaching UConn and making millions of dollars.
Yeah.
But at the time when I got into it, I remember thinking if I spent my life coaching my eighth grade town basketball team in Bloomfield, where I grew up, I said I'd be happy doing that as well because it was something
Yeah.
that I wanted to do. So I think that's one of the first things is recognizing that, and then there's challenge to it. There's no doubt that there's challenge. There's challenge when things don't go well, or relationships that you have, or players aren't happy with what's going on, and like there's
Hmm.
ups and downs to it. But
Yeah.
I think there are certainly a lot more ups, and there's a lot more bright spots than negative things. So
Yeah. All right, Coach. You get the final word here for the team, the assistant coaches, family, friends, administration, athletics, and most importantly, what's your message there out to the fans? As again as we embark in on this 2022-23 season here.
right, hey, tomorrow night we start. Come on down to the Bill and check it out, and go online and check out our schedule. Come to any games you can. Come out and support the team. I think if you're part of the Ramapo people, you'd be very proud of the group that we're going to put out there and the way they're going to compete. So,
Great. Hey, just a true honor and privilege being able to interview Coach Eineker and, wishing you, the assistant coaches, the team, all the best in the 2022-23 season.
hey, Sunil, thanks. It's always great to talk to you, man.